Here's a week of meal prep as a mom of 4. I always start with some kind of Uncrustable to load the freezer, and this week it was just cream cheese and turkey because that's what the 6-year-old's been wanting. Over the month of October, we've been cutting these out in the shape of pumpkins, but I think I can officially say that after this week, we're going to go back to my favorite Uncrustable cutter. But it's been fun to do pumpkins this month. Once they're done, I store them in these containers and put a water-dissolving label on them so we know what they are. Then they go in the freezer. As always, we save the crust for a recipe, and this week it was our favorite, which is pizza cups. I tell you guys this all the time, but it's one of my most requested recipes by my kids, which is really funny because the recipe was just born to save the scraps. And if you're looking for a fun way to get festive this month, these little muffin tin liners were super fun. Growing up, my mom always made seasoned oyster crackers, and at Halloween time, we love to make it on pretzels, and we use this same recipe to season our pumpkin seeds after we carve our pumpkins. It's 0% healthy, but one of our absolute favorite treats. This entire tray sadly was gone in one day. Next, I wanted to make chocolate chip cookies, and this is my favorite recipe to make because I can always freeze a bunch of dough. This is hands down my husband's favorite recipe, and his birthday's coming up, so I knew if I froze the dough, I could bake these again on his birthday. The recipe makes a lot of cookies, and you're gonna think that this dough is really thick, but don't get discouraged. I swear it is the best cookie recipe. Once it's done, we use a large cookie dough scoop to scoop out the batter. It makes the perfect size cookies and makes it super easy to freeze the extras. Once I get the first batch into the oven, I always take a cookie sheet, scoop a bunch of the scoops super close together, and pop that second sheet right into the freezer so I can freeze them for later. And they're perfect to bake straight from frozen. And you know I had to make these a little bit festive, so we did add some Monster Ice to the cookies when they were done baking. This is the perfect way to have a sweet treat now and a little bit later. Then since we've been in birthday prep, I wanted to make an extra fun dip this week. This was just cream cheese and fluff with a little bit of food coloring, and in an ideal world I would have cut up apples, but I was honestly really tired, so I loaded these up with Nilla wafers, added some Monster eyeballs, and we were ready to go. It was basically Mike Wazowski in a dip form. The next recipe was prepping for dinner. Our cornbread recipe is super delicious, extra fluffy, and maybe a little bit more like cake than some. It makes quite a bit, and since we don't ever eat that many, I was able to freeze half of these, which was great. They were made to pair with my white chicken chili, which is definitely a fan favorite recipe around here, so if you haven't tried it, I highly suggest it. That went in the crock pot, and we were ready for dinner later while I prepped my last recipe. Before the month was over, my kids requested the Mummy biscuits and gravy just one more time. I took a tube of biscuits, cut up some of the biscuits into long strips, then stretched the rest of them into oval shapes. Scoop a little bit of homemade sausage gravy onto each of the flat biscuits, then add the extra strips, bake, and then put on googly eyeballs. This was for sure the favorite this month. Enjoy!